I'm a big fan of Radio TV Phono Nut, Brian's channel on YouTube, where he fixes or attempts to give various electronics a new life, like TVs, radios, and record players, like these classic Califone record players. I remember these Califone players from my elementary and middle school days. These were used in libraries and classrooms and institutions. These are not your high-end turntable with a magnetic cartridge and 2.5 gram tracking. These are rugged, durable units built to last. The older I get, the more nostalgic I get. One of these seems out of place to many in this age of MP3s and streaming music. Rare times I've seen one of these outside of a school or a library. I've wanted one for a long time, but I always thought I'd like to buy one in operating condition, as I know little about repairing these units, especially a tube-type system, as my schooling was mainly with the solid-state circuitry more or less. Brian of Radio TV Phono Nut goes into decent detail about working on one of these units. I've been watching his channel for a number of years. I like his style and down-to-earth common sense personality and passion for saving vintage electronics and sharing it with the world. Well, I think it's time for me to own one of these record players. I used to play with these back in the day in my elementary and middle school libraries. I've got a box of old records I don't particularly like playing on my good turntables, and a bunch of 45s from a jukebox that would be perfect to play on a unit like one of these Califone players. I wanted to get one of the models specific to the ones I remember, which is the Rheem-Califone 1450, and later I remember the 1430C from middle school. I found the 1450 for auction on eBay. It was less than $10 on the bid. I was only going to bid on it once for the current auction price. If I got it, I got it. If I didn't, I didn't. I wasn't going to dink around with some Johnson trying to bid me up on the price. I was the only bidder. Another dealer on eBay sent me an offer for a 1430C, which is the other model I was looking at, actually in my state of North Carolina. I guess eBay knows what you look at and probably informed the dealer I had viewed it. In any case, a $30 price tag was on that one, and he dropped it to $20. And the offer and the shipping was reasonable, so I didn't plan on getting two of these, but in any case, this one from the pictures looks clean, and according to the dealer, turns on and spins and makes a sound when you rub your finger across the pickup. So I guess they had no records to test it or something. I just couldn't turn it down. And it helps a dealer in my state on eBay. It's Saturday night, January 17th, 2026. It's about 11 p.m. I've been working out of town today. I was informed that some packages had come for me. Checking my email, the large box I received was the Califone 1430C. Well, that wasn't supposed to be here till next Saturday, and the 1450 was supposed to be here today. Incidentally, Goodwill of Cleveland, Ohio have dragged their feet in getting the 1450 shipped, but according to the tracker, it should arrive sometime tomorrow on Sunday. It's late, it's about 51 degrees out here in the shop, but I'm curious, Al, now that I know it's here. I got to at least take it out of the box and see if it survived the shipping war. Fixing a problem with one is one thing, but trying to do something with a destroyed or broken unit is another. These players are not really worth, to me, the price some of these Johnsons try to put on them. I'm just hoping to get a decent unit from one of the two that I'm getting here, so I can clean up and repair if I need to and enjoy some of my older 45s and maybe some 78s. Too many times I've seen Brian get these units on his channel, and shipping really does a number on them. That's another reason I've really tried for a long time to just find one around here in working order, but I never really see them. And I've never seen one in Goodwill or Salvation Army or even at a yard sale. Really, the only one outside of school I've ever seen or a county library was in an antique store, and I want to say that was a Bell and Howell, not really one of these, and they wanted good money for it, as I can remember, like $160 or something. That's probably 10 or 15 years ago. Anyway, I got $36.01 invested in this one so far with shipping. It looks to be packed in a towel warmer box. I don't think it's double boxed. The 1430C is not a big player. It's certainly not as thick as this box, but it seems to be solid in the box. Hopefully they padded the top and bottom real well at least. The box is taped up well and not beat up too bad. Appears that the top opens up on this box like a lid. Okay, did they send me a towel warmer or a turntable here? Ah, there is a record player in there. See if I can get it to slide out here. Yeah, actually the towel warmer box turned out to be the perfect size to box the 1430C in. I think if I were going to send it across the country though as a dealer, I would certainly double box it. This fortunately didn't have to travel that far. Oh yeah, those spongy rubber feet. This Califone still has it. I surely remember that. Amazing. I can't believe I actually have one. I know it may sound crazy, but wow, this really brings back the memories, friends. I'm taking this in, folks. I'm totally blown away how good of a shape the suitcase is in. All the corners seem to be intact. Looks really good. It's not really dirty, not too bad. The seller stated in the description this came from an estate sale and was sitting on a shelf. It supposedly turns on, it spins, and makes a sound when you rub your finger across the needle. The lid fasteners are solid on both sides. They're not loose or coming out or missing. A lot of times the lid will be broken on these, and that's all good on this one. This is the back of the unit, looking through the vent. You can see a hint of the speaker in there. These are 10-watt mono record players. Incidentally, I have some 5-watt institutional speakers I need to test, so I can maybe hook those up to this. You know, what if this Califone player just works? Maybe by some miracle I have a good score here. The carry handle and latch are intact and solid. You all may tune this out thinking this guy's just nuts getting excited over a record player, especially one like this. It's nothing special, not a high-end stereo thing or anything. You just don't know. The lid is solid. There it is, still intact and looking old but still readable. All the operating instructions. The unit also has the specifications printed here. Like I said, this has a 10 watt. I think this has a 10 watt. I think it's a 8 ohm amplifier with a 6x9 installed speaker. It is a mono player, but you can play your stereo records on it and hear both channels combined. It plays 4 different speeds of records from 16 up through 78s and runs on standard 120 volt 60 hertz sources. And these were manufactured in California, the good old USA. And since this was made after 73, it's dropped the Rheem name because Rheem sold the company to Western Audio Visual, and from there on it was just known as Califone International and just carried the Califone name. Wow, the top, it just really looks good. There's no peeling paint or rubbed off graphics. The controls feel pretty good. They're not loose or broken. That is 10 watts at 8 ohms. The speed control moves rather easily. Brian says always store these with the speed in the neutral position. I just can't get over how clean this unit is. It may have some use, but I think it's low hour. There's no way this was in an institution. There's the serial tag. Now this is a metal platter, and the rubber mat and the record adapter are still in place on it. Only thing I can see so far is the tone arm clip may be a little funky there. But actually the tone arm stayed locked to the resting post, I think. It appears to actually have a stylus in it for both regular and 78 speed records. As to whether that's any good or not is still a question at this point. At 50 bucks a pop, I'd prefer not to replace that right now if I don't have to. It does flip over. It's so cold out here though, I can't really feel if there's any tip left on there or not. I'll find out tomorrow. I'll get some records together. I tell you, I'm already on a good buzz with this one. If it works, I'll be in orbit. If it don't, I'm going to have a hard crash. Well, I'm really excited over this Califone. Got to get some sleep though. Till tomorrow, and the other one should be here, so I'm looking forward to what that'll bring also. I brung this in to clean it up a little this morning. It's really cold outside, and in fact snowing. Cold in the shop this morning too. That's why I'm in here. Just amazing that I got a unit in this great of a condition. A lot of the times at school, they were ragged out from use and abuse. Even the ones kept in the library all the time were well used. The lettering rubbed off, and of course the spray painted property of said school system. If this had been used in a school or county library, it would have their name on it, or at least an asset tag, and there is none anywhere I can see. The 1450 that should be here later today, however, is an institutional player with a Cleveland, Ohio school identifier stamped on it. From the pictures though, it looked in fairly good condition, but we shall see. That one has tubes in it also, and it's traveling further. And it's older, and it's seen more use, I can imagine. I'm going to go hunt down a box of records from an old defunct jukebox that I got some 8 or 10 years ago, and maybe later this evening I will have time to test this unit out. Okay, I'm back out in the shop with the Califone 1430C, As a matter of fact, the 1450 has arrived, the one I won on an auction. I've actually just connected this to a power source. I haven't seen any smoke or anything yet. I do have a fire extinguisher close by, believe me. Well, it looks great cleaned up. Okay, well this is kind of the moment you cringe a little bit. I've got the motor speed in the neutral position there, or the transmission. Let's put it in pause and see what happens. Oh, we have the tone arm light there, the pilot light. Let's see what happens when we go. I'm going to turn that. Oh, I hear scratchy volume. I'm going to turn that all the way down in case it pops. I hear the motor. The platter spins freely. Let me get a record. I got a handful of 45s here. I may have to wipe some of these off before I try to play them. Maybe try to find a clean one or something, like maybe that one. I don't know if you're supposed to use these kind of wipes on these things, but these are just jukebox records anyway. Dry that off maybe and see what happens. It looks a tiny bit better. Well, moment of truth. Let's see what happens here. Let me pull you up just a little and back maybe. Let's hope we hear sound. I, by the way, fixed this tone arm clip. It holds it down good now. Okay, let's start it at the beginning of the record here. Now the guy said he run his finger across it and it made a noise. Let's go 45. Well, it is working, and it sounds like it's playing the record at the right speed. But it doesn't have a lot of volume. Ooh. Now by the sound of that, that's pretty loud. We should be hearing that kind of volume out of the program there. Well, the low volume could be a number of different things. It could be that there's a problem with the amplifier. We could have a defective volume switch here. I don't think the tone switch would be bad. That kind of tells me right there, maybe between the scratchiness of the volume and this, no sound might be getting through. But I'm hearing loud pops out of the amplifier like that's working. I'm gonna turn this. Now I can barely hear my finger rub across that needle. I wonder if I touch the pickup wires, does that make any difference? Maybe I need to put it in play here. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh, that amplifier is loud when you... Oh yeah, maybe it's a problem with the stylus, or maybe the cartridge is bad. Thomasville, we have a problem here. I can remember Brian running across this issue on one of his record players. If you can see here, one of the pickup wires has detached itself from the connecting pin of the pickup. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. There we go. Now I need to tin the actual connector. The reason that these wires become disconnected from the post there is because when you change this needle over, that wire moves with the pickup. See? There's already some sorter on that post, actually. I think I have it. Gonna bend that back just a little bit there. I think the post bent with me just a little bit. Might have got a little hot there. But it is connected. Both of them are connected now. It's not touching. Let's see what happens. Nice fixed lock there. This kind of reminds me of the wires that attach to heads on tape machines. I can remember more than a few repairs when machines would lose signal. One or more of the wires would either come loose or detached from the head, causing low, intermittent, or no sound. That 45's just hanging on the spindle. Never fell off. Never even really thought to take it off. Okay, shades of blue. Oh, how happy. Am I going to be happy now? Pause. Set the tone arm down. I hope that worked. Oh wow, I can already tell. Oh yeah. Wow. Oh, how happy you have made me. Oh, how happy. I don't know if I'll get copyright struck for that. Let me try another one. How about some Ricky Nelson up your nose? Traveling Man. Spanky and Our Gang. 3 Ways from Tomorrow. I have no idea. Yeah, but you hear how loud that is. I've not even got that turned up. Well, I don't know if you can tell through the camera pickup, but I've not even hardly got this turned up any, and it's pretty loud already. Got another handful here. I don't know what I can find to play, but let's try this one. It's Ronnie Dove, No Greater Love. Ronnie Dove, No Greater Love. One night sounds great. Wow, I'm blown away. It works great. All I had to do was solder one wire to make this work. You know, I don't really think it needs maintenance on the turntable itself. It seems to be working fine. I could do a speed test on it maybe, or a rotation test, but it sounds fine. I want to get this other one unboxed and see what it looks like. So I'm just blown away. I'm totally blown away. Amazing. I just had to run the heat in here. It's very cool in here this evening. We actually had snow showers today. Now it's nighttime or after dark, and it's trying to work its way down to 18 degrees tonight. But you give to the top of it there. There is no packaging in the top of this box whatsoever. I mean, why would you leave this kind of free space in a box? Would have been probably better off in a box the record player size. You see the kind of room the suitcase had to move around in here. That's a good 4 to 6 inches. It was free to bounce around in there. I got a feeling what I may find in here is not going to be good. Yeah, you hear that? Sounds like a tube fell out of something, or something's loose. Oh, it don't sound good. Well, whatever it is within all of that. Oh, it doesn't sound good when it moves. It is bubble wrapped, but that may have just prevented total destruction. In the pictures, they didn't show this lid being damaged. They have it taped up, but it's still been compromised. Oh, goodwill, goodwill. Something fell out. Oh, the platter's loose and everything. Look at this. I have no clue what that is. Oh, this is terrible, terrible. The pictures didn't show me being able to view the idler wheel off the bat. There should be an E-clip that holds on the idler wheel and another one that holds the platter on. They are both MIA. I'm touching the pickup wires to see if there's any activity on the amp side, and there's nothing. Also, the stylus is worn down to the point both sides there's nothing left. So far I have a compromised lid on the suitcase. There's missing parts in the platter drive and no rotation. The stylus tip is worn slap out. There's no response from the amplifier. I also noticed that the tone and volume control knobs have been warped by the hits the loose platter give them in shipping. So it's never going to play right without a replacement. Just a big disappointment. There is some crackle when I first turn on the player from the speaker, but then nothing. So there's clearly a problem with the amplifier or the power supply. Well, about the 1450, I'm not really going to waste any of your time about it, nor am I going to waste any more of mine, really. I got some E-clips for the idler wheel and the turntable platter, but there's a lot more to it than that. I think the fault has a lot to lie with Goodwill not packaging the unit right and FedEx finishing it off. I wrote Goodwill a nice love letter about it, telling them they needed to inspect these players more thoroughly and tape down the platter and tone arm and double box the unit with extra padding. I sent them pictures of it and explained the platter separated in shipment and wreaked havoc. I mean, you can just think of the metal platter banging around on the knobs and tone arm and against that lid. Goodwill did respond. They said they appreciated the pictures and they would use them to better train their staff. They apologized. They are issuing me a refund. I responded with a thank you, I appreciate that. You know, I understand as is and parts only, but how much of this damage was there when it was donated to Goodwill? And how much was there during shipping? Who knows? If it would have been double boxed, I may have had at least a parts unit, and I would have accepted my gamble. Maybe even have gotten another 1450 and made a good one from both of them. But there's little left to work with here. As Brian would say, EOL for this one, I believe. But it all come out in a wash. I don't have to send it back to them. I just have to send it to the recycle bin, I'm afraid. Baked. 365. Order up. Let me know in the comments if you think I was justified in requesting a refund on this player. This, my friends, is the Speco WB86D, a commercial wall baffle speaker. I'm sure many of you have seen these in schools and businesses and office settings. I have two of these here from a renovation cleanup. I never really hooked them up to see if they worked. Seeing one of these the other day reminded me I have a few of these. The speakers are still made today, but they're known as the WB86T. Speco is still in business, and it is in fact a family-owned business started in 1959. The company specializes in audio, video, PA systems for paging, background music, and announcements. They are located in Lyndhurst, New York of the USA, according to the back of these speakers. If you ever wondered what the insides of one of these look like, well, here it is. These have an 8-inch dual cone paper speaker, 70-volt 8-ohm transformer connected to a strip with connectors to its taps. These speakers are actually sold new through dealers and carry a lifetime warranty. These speakers are designed to work in a constant voltage system that allows you to daisy chain many of them together across a long distance. This strip, according to where you connect it, decides the maximum level of the speaker at its peak volume. The speakers carry a frequency response of 85 Hz to 20 kHz, so don't expect them to shake your pants leg or sound like cabinet speakers. They are geared for voice and background music, nothing hi-fi or true listening enjoyment. To test these, I'm going to use my revived Califone 1430C. It has an option to connect external speakers, and it has 8 ohms just like the Speco speakers are rated at. I've got a setup here that would cause the average Jason J.J. Cruz's eyeballs to pop out of their socket and splatter clear on the next wall. This is just for test purpose. I have a stripped 1/4-inch cable here. I have both speakers connected to the 5-watt setting of the terminal strips. So let's see what they'll do. Okay, I've got everything connected. I got my speakers plugged in. I've got this control on pause. Let's release that. I'm going to give this about half volume. Let's see if this left one works. Oh yeah. Volume control is a little scratchy. Actually sounds really decent. Let's see if this right one works. Oh yeah. So yeah, both of those work. Both of these Speco 1B86D 70 volt 10 watt 8 ohm constant voltage wall baffle speakers are in great condition and operating order. These were saved from a renovation. These sell for around 75 to 100 bucks each depending on the distributor selling them. Used, these sell for around 30 to 40 bucks each. Back in the time you could pump your gas before you paid for it, and you could board an airplane without a full body scan, and you made telephone calls at home or in a phone booth. You may have walked into a library and picked out a record much like this one, formerly in the High Point, North Carolina library. You would find an open player, put on your headphones, and enjoy your music. The only time I ever got to hear the actual speaker in one of these was when you used it for a classroom film strip, which was mostly spoken word. This player has a great sound actually, and it's a thrill for me, and it's mine, and I get to take it home. This was kind of an ingenious thing back in the day. I don't know if some of you can remember, but you see how the tone arm is moving back and forth there? On an automatic changer back in the day, that would trigger a mechanism that would pick up the tone arm and shut the record player off. Or if you had one of the auto stackers, that would trigger it to drop the next record. Recapping, I set out to obtain a Califone 1450 or 1430C and ended up with both. However, the 1450 is damaged beyond repair, unfortunately. The good thing is I did get to see one in the real again, and I didn't lose any money on it. Goodwill of Cleveland, Ohio is refunding my money, and this unit will be a candidate for the recycle pile to become a future Chinese car, I guess. Maybe they could make something useful out of it, like a back scratcher. The unit was packaged poorly for shipment, and I did not receive what was represented in the pictures. Let me know in the comments section what you think. The 1430C was another listing on eBay for 30 bucks. The dealer offered me a deal of 20 bucks plus shipping. So the total I have in this player is $36.01. It had a low volume due to a detached wire to the cartridge pickup. I soldered that wire back in place and it works amazingly. These sell working on eBay for around $140 to $160 plus shipping. The free Speco 1B86D speakers work great. They look great and they sound good. New, these speakers sell for around 75 to 100 bucks each. Used prices for these in good shape would be around $35 each. I'm Big Al Cox. Let me and others know about your experiences with a Califone or Rheem-Califone record player from back in the day. I'm really going to enjoy playing all my older 45s, LPs, and 78s on this awesome player. They were made for record players like this. And hey, what do you think about the Speco wall baffle speakers? Please like the video if you did. I will have more videos coming soon saving various items from the landfill. Until then, I wish you many blessings from my shop to yours.
Crawling from the toxic sewers, lab rat creeping out of electric bogs, lab rat. He is mechanized, 30 foot in size, crushing Tokyo with a fatal blow, giving birth in a Tokyo lab rat. He is friends with a mutant crab, lab rat. He is mechanized, 30 foot in size, crushing Tokyo with a fatal blow. They made him what he is, lab rat must kill, destroying all he can against the good of man.